Hi, I pray this video finds you in good health and spirit. My name is James Daniel Johnson, and I've been writing poetry since 1997. I was born and raised in Florence, South Carolina, and I've been living here in Washington, D.C. since 2004. I'm about to share some of my poetry with you, and I know you're gonna like it. The title of this poem is called A Principle of Love. There was once a wonderful girl who to me was so kind. Her beauty was inside out, one indeed that's hard to define. When we met, I was strung out on drugs, but to look down on me she wouldn't dare. She saw beyond my addiction and showed that for me she cared. So soon after, I stopped using and I straightened up my life. She became my friend and my lover, and I hope someday my wife. But sad to say, after a while, our relationship came to an end, simply due to the fact that I started getting high again. And eventually I ended up in jail and decided to call her on the phone. Her mother accepted my call and told me that she was gone. I said, tell her that I love her, but she replied, that isn't true. How can you possibly love my daughter when you don't even love you? Needless to say, I didn't agree, yet I figured to argue would be a waste. But today I've come to my senses as I stare reality in the face. In order for me to ever truly love her mother, or anybody else, I must first begin to learn how to love myself. The title of this poem is If I Don't Change. It's not just another day in the penitentiary, but one I'll never forget. And no doubt by doing so, I'll spare myself much regret. Earlier, I faced yet another reality as I had a conversation with an old man. He took the time to share some wisdom and my foolish mistakes understand. And when he finished, he simply smiled and said that he'd never be released. Though he was sentenced to natural life, he seemed consumed with peace. But a moment later, he began to weep. Many tears fell from his eyes. The misery that overwhelmed him, he couldn't continue to disguise. Then suddenly he regained his composure and walked away without another word. And I immediately began to register everything that I just heard. As well, I took it all to heart. His priceless advice no longer seemed strange, because his future may be my fate if when I get out, I don't change. Excellent. The title of this poem is called Will It Ever Cease? With all my brothers and sisters, there's something that I wish to share. If you are an African American, for a moment with me, please bear. As I sit here thinking of our heritage, I feel so proud at heart to belong to this blessed race. I'm so glad to be a part. However, concerning our people, there's an issue that needs addressed. One indeed that's quite sad, or real shame, I must confess. In many of our black communities, drugs are in control, destroying so many lives. Oh, how great the toll. Some have lost everything they've owned because their addictions have them enslaved. Some will wind up in prison, and some in an early grave. Then there are those of us who won't use, but will sell it to a sister or a brother. For the love of material things, we continue to ruin one another. Yet it's the white man's fault. This many of us instinctively voice. However, that's far from the truth, because the fact remains that we have a choice. Will we ever open our eyes and the truth comprehend? When will we come to our senses and bring this madness to an end? Until we as a people take a stand, our self-destruction will only increase unless we begin to truly love one another. This disgrace will never cease. In conclusion, the title of my two books are Internal Reflections, It Is What It Is, and This Will Make You Think. You can contact me at my website, which is www.jdanielj1168.wix.com/Daniel the Poet. There is poetry in my books for everybody, and I'm sure that includes you. Again, thank you for your time.